Okay. Now I want to share with you one another fundamental concept that how to do network operations from Android app. Okay. I just created a simple project. Okay. There is nothing, I didn't put anything yet. Okay, but I just want let's delete this one. I just want a very simple one, like I will just put an image view here. Okay, an image view, and in this image view we will display just something. Okay, for the time being, maybe just simply like this. Okay, so in this image view I want to display one image, and the image I want to take it from internet. Okay, so this is the main purpose of the text of this image view. Let me change its properties, not with ref content. I think yeah, it should be okay. It should be okay, no problem. Okay, in this case, its ID is image view. Yeah, parent, all those stuff. The avatar. I think let me delete this. Yeah, because there is nothing at this moment. Just to for the show purpose, maybe we can just put this one for a while. Okay. Now, if the very important and the very first step that you should do when you want to do some network operations, that you should get network permissions. Okay, and network permission for network permission, you should go to manifest file. Manifest file is in the project hierarchy, the first one inside the manifest folder, and if you double click this one, it will open here. Okay, so in this I think I did happen here, but mostly maybe I have missed up. Yeah, okay. So this is the default manifest file. Okay, no issue. Um, yeah, okay, no problem. So how to add network permissions in the XML file? This one uses permission, the first one. Okay, uses permission, and what permission you want? We want internet permission. So just click this one. Okay, and after that, close the tag. That's all. Okay, nothing more than this. Yeah, I hope so not be an issue. Okay, so the only one thing uses and uses permission. So what permission you want? There are many different permission. For example, for camera permission, for mic permission. Okay, so we want internet permission. After that, close it. Okay, now let's come to close this one also. Let's come to our main file. Okay, uh, here in the main file I want to define the image view. So let me define here first image view, because this image view we will image view we will access from many different locations. So this is why I want to define at the beginning. So private image view image view. Okay, now here in the we will just connect to the user interface. Image view equal to find view by id and r dot id dot image view. That's on. Okay, the best way if you want to cascade this view to image view, then is it's a good practice to do it. Okay, if you want, otherwise still okay, it will work. Okay, after that, now we want to get an image from an internet, and then display here on the image view. So you should specify before which image you want to access it. For example, there is one service on the address imgbb.com. imgbb.com. So here you can actually upload any image that you want. Okay, any image that you want, you can upload. For example, if I do like this, you see, upload an image. okay, whatever image you want to upload. So I just save one image here. So upload, okay, and then upload it, and then you see it will give you the URL. So actually we need the URL. This is why we uploaded the image, because this is a URL, and we will use the URL to perform the network operations, okay, and then we will display on the image. So if you copy this path, this URL, you see that this is the image URL. Okay, now to access this URL from Android app and display on the image view, so that is our target. Now to do that one, for that purpose, let me define one function first, and after that I will call that function from here to display the image for us. So that one function will be public function. Okay, it will return to us a bit image. Okay, bit image, a bitmap image. Okay, its type will be, so you can give any name, for example get image from internet, or get remote image, whatever name you want to give. Get a remote image. Okay, and this function will need a URL, that from which URL you want to uh, get the image. So URL and image URL, image URL. Okay, URL, image URL, and here will be the function for the image URL. Okay, now this mostly the internet operations. Uh, Sometime maybe internet is not available. So there are many possibilities that the function could not be performed. So any such coding which have the possibility to generate some error, then you should put that one in try catch block. Okay, so in try catch block we are using here in the try block URL connection. Okay, URL connection. Okay, URL connection equal to image URL dot open connection, open connection, image URL dot open connection. Should be okay. It's okay. uh, URL connection dot connect dot connect. Okay, in the catch block, if there is any issue, oh sorry, uh, its return type is a bitmap, so this will get some bitmap. Before this connection, yeah, before this return, we should generate the bitmap first. Okay, so buffered input stream buffered input stream is a variable, and then it is equal to new buffered input stream, and to this one we will pass the URL connection that we have just created now. URL connection and the get input stream, it will give us the bitmap, and now we should create the bitmap equal to bitmap factory dot decode string, decode decode oh, sorry decode string, the next one, and we will pass the buffered input string. Okay, uh, we already got the bitmap image. Okay, we need to close all the resources which have been used in the buffer input string, that close, because it uses a lot of resources. So and then finally return uh, the bitmap. Okay, so this one, in case of the catch, if there is any issue, then okay, it will be input output exception, and here it should just return e dot eight. Oh, exception e, and then e dot eight. Oh my gosh, should be like this. E dot print address, and after this, eh, the whole process didn't work, then it should return null. Return. Okay. So this is just a function. It will display a mess. It will use this URL. Okay, we will send this one now. This URL, and this will be the URL that we want to access, and a URL connection, and then the connection connect, and from this connection, this will be an input buffer. From the input buffer, it will create the bitmap image, and then close, and then return the bitmap image. Okay. Now to call this function, we will here URL, again URL, okay, is equal to, let's suppose null at the beginning, semicolon, alt enter, because the URL is not added, so alt enter, the class will be adding. Now everything done. The error was because of this, because the URL class was not added yet. Okay, now again, as I told you, that if there is any your internet functionality, then better to put in a try catch block. So URL equal to new URL, and here we will pass the URL. So what URL we want to access? We want to access this URL. Copy. And here we will pass the URL. Okay. So this is the URL from which we want URL equal to new URL. This is the URL that from which we want to create the bitmap. Okay, and again, if any problem, then catch. Okay, and here will be like a malform URL. If there is the URL is not correct or any problem, okay, URL exception e. Okay, and here we will just display the message e dot print step trace. So whatever error is it will display for us. Okay. After this, we need to create a bitmap. Bit map. Bitmap. Okay, this bitmap will be from where we will get this bitmap from the function that we define. This is this function. I will call this function now and pass the URL that we want to access. Okay, so this function will be called, we pass the URL. So the URL is this URL, and we open the connection, we input the buffer stream, and from the input buffer stream, we create the bitmap. Okay, and then we close it and return the bitmap. Once the bitmap is returned, it will be here. Okay, so when it is here, then we can actually call, now we already have the image ready. Now we will display on the image view. So simply image view, okay, dot set image bitmap, set image bitmap, Okay, and the we will pass the bitmap that we have. Okay, so save it. Now I'm running this app, but you see what will happen. You see, when I'm running this app, the app actually crashes. You see, run again. You see, it crashes. Why? The problem is that actually you see we are doing what? We are doing internet operations, but these internet operations we are trying to do over the main thread. Okay, so we cannot perform internet operations on the main thread. And if you remember, in the last class we have discussed asynchronous task. So always remember that internet operation will be performed on as a async task. You will create another thread, okay, and you will call you will do the internet based operations on a second thread, not on the main thread. Okay, and if you remember, for that purpose we were doing what? We were creating another class, okay, another private class, okay, and that class was inheriting the async task. Okay, so again you can give any name, like for example get image async, let's suppose async, and this class will extend will be inherited from async task. Okay, and oh sorry, async task, this one. And you see this, if you remember, this async task has three parameters. So whatever three parameter you want to send here, you can send. Last time, if you remember, we were sending string and void and some progress um, parameter. But now we are sending what? We are sending a URL, and one for the progress will be void, and when the task complete, then it will be a bitmap. So one will be URL, okay, another will be void. This void is actually for the progress, okay, and third one void, okay, and third one is a bitmap. These three parameters will be sent to this class as a argument. Okay, now you see we got the options that if you are extending or inheriting async task, then you must override a function whose name is do in background. So if you want to override any function, click Control O, okay, and here we can actually search do in background. Yeah, you see, do in background is this one. So you see the error gone already. So here we will try to access the coding now. So URL equal to URL, and this one we will get that URL that we got from here. Actually, this is an array of URLs now. So URL is this one. Yeah, URLs. It's an array of URLs. So the first one we will use index 0. Okay. After that, from this URL, bitmap, bitmap. Okay, and now get remote image, we will call get function from here. Now you see this image, this function we will get from here. We can call from here, it's not an issue, because now we are using async task. Okay, so and then return, this function is returning a bitmap. So bitmap. Okay, another function that you must override when you are using async task is the after completion, that one this async task is completed, that what you want to do. So that one is called on post execution, meaning to say after completion the task. So Control O, on post execution. On post execute is this one. Yeah. So here on post execute, we are doing what? We are simply, let's delete this. Here we are simply setting to image view dot set image bitmap, and the bitmap is already this one that we have. Okay, now you see we do all the task now in another thread, asynchronous thread. Okay, so on a main thread it is not allowed. Now here we will not create this one like this, but here actually this one you see we have already done this one here, so no need anymore. Okay, and maybe I will just comment it. And this one also no need. So how to do it? If you remember, we have done last time also that now we will call our this class. So how to call the class is like this: new and the class name get. You see, get image async the class name and then dot execute. Okay, execute async task. Okay, and what we want to execute, we want to execute the URL. You see, we already have the URL here. So the URL will be executed like this. Okay, so hopefully this time will not crash. Let's run. You see, it's running, but not displaying. Why? Because it's a background task. It's working in the background. Let's see, after a while it will display. The URL will be like this. We should copy from here, right click on it, copy image address, and then change this one. Okay. Now if we run this application, you see the image has been displayed.